This evening, I would like to introduce you to a few people. Starting on the left, this is Rosa, a mom with 2 kids who are extremely picky and will not eat anything she puts in front of them if it looks remotely healthy. Next is Deborah, a mom who's struggling with having a toddler who's already 15 pounds overweight. Following is James, a single dad who is tired of serving the same few meals over and over and over again. Then's Wendy, a diabetic who's been hearing for months from her doctor that she needs to change her diet. And finally, there's Mashai, a working mom, short on time, just trying to put the best meal she can in front of her kids. What each of these families are facing is perhaps not that different than some of the things that you all are facing when it comes to trying to live and eat a little bit healthier. But the complicating factor for them is that each of these families are food insecure. For those of you who might be less familiar with that expression, food insecurity is the term that the federal government is now using instead of hunger. What it means is that someone who is food insecure must alter the quantity or quality of the food that they're eating because they don't have enough money. For some, that's not having enough food, that's actual hunger. But for many others, it's too much of the calorie-dense, inexpensive foods that lead to both malnutrition and obesity. Although this might start as a financial issue, the repercussions are actually broad and deep. A child living in a food-insecure household, like James's son, for example, is less likely to do well in school if he goes off hungry and is worried about where his next meal is coming from. Children living in a food-insecure household are also more likely to be sick more regularly. And all of these factors lead to youth and adults that aren't as prepared to enter the workforce or go on to higher education. In Massachusetts, 1 out of every 5 children are growing up in a food-insecure household. Connecting these families with food is part of the solution. But just because someone has access to food doesn't really mean they know what to do with it. And it's for that reason that the parents I spoke of earlier signed up to take a Cooking Matters course at a South End Head Start, one of over 200 organizations throughout the state that's hosted Cooking Matters programming. For 6 weeks, these families were met by a volunteer chef and a volunteer nutritionist. And they talked about things like the pros and cons of fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables, not just from the perspective of nutrition, but also from taste and affordability. And they practiced making some different recipes, but they also learned the essential cooking techniques that they would need so that they could open up that bag they received from the food pantry or look inside their fridge and know how to take those ingredients and turn them into something that even a 4-year-old might be willing to eat. At the end of the 6 weeks, these families had the lifelong skills that they needed to be able to stretch their food dollars just a little bit longer each month. They had learned how to select the healthier foods and prepare them in a way that perhaps even the pickiest of eater would give the seal of approval. Our hope in Massachusetts is that we can reach as many families as possible with Cooking Matters programming. We want to expand our 6-week signature course, and we also want to offer one-time educational events like guided grocery store tours for those families that can't actually commit to a 6-week series. We're looking for an investment of $1 million over the next 2 years, and we will use that in order to hire some staff, starting with an educational outreach coordinator to oversee those one-time events. We also want to focus our expansion on the highest need communities in the state, not just in Boston, but also as far west as Springfield and Holyoke. And of course, in order to do this, we're going to need a lot more volunteers, engaging them and training them in the work that we do. Cooking matters. And if you were to ask James why, he would tell you the same thing he told me the morning he graduated from that class in the South End. I signed up to take this class because I was tired of making fried chicken and mac and cheese for my little boy. I didn't realize that because I came for 6 weeks, my little boy would be healthier for the rest of his life. This evening, I invite you to come and sample one of our delicious pineapple carrot muffins and talk to us about why cooking matters to you and how you might be able to connect us with the finances, friends, or volunteers that will help us accomplish our goals. Thank you.